All right, good morning. Good morning. What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Tuesday, April 22nd at 8 a.m. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out today. Big day today, very busy day today. We'll do the morning show. My plan is to do a little pregame action, couple hours before the game starts, and then we'll get the game. Then we'll do postgame. So very very busy day today, as we are in the heart of the playoffs. Lakers down 1-0 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We got a packed show today. No guests today, so I'll be hanging out. We'll be chilling with our people. Get into a lot of different topics, a lot of different things that we can hit on. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. We're back. Coffee again. Today I'm much more prepared. Yesterday was I was flustered. Hadn't made a cup of coffee in how many days is that? About a month and a half, something like that. Almost 2 months. I didn't know how to make a cup of coffee. I didn't have the proper mug. Nothing. We're back today. Regular cup of coffee. Maybe just maybe I was kind of wanted some tea. What the hell happened to me? Let me just move this a little bit here. Kind of wanted some tea for a quick second there. All right, we got a lot to get into today. Let me give everyone a quick quote. Got a lot of really good topics that I want to hit on. Obviously, a lot of them about the Lakers game tonight, and then also got some topics around the NBA that I want to get to as well. Let me take just a quick peek here. What do we got for the comments today? Cheers. Morning from Brazil. Sliwa, we lost because you stopped with coffee. Got it. I'll take all the blame for it. Before I even get into my quote, life is just a series of starts like that. The refs will make sure we win tonight, okay? Good morning, Lakers familia. Slee, this is a must-win tonight if we lose Cancun. You know what? I think I'm starting to kind of fall on that as well. I still think the Lakers can win in Minnesota. I don't think there's a I think these teams are actually much closer to evenly matched than this. Oh my gosh, they're a buzzsaw. Nobody knows how to stop them. I don't think it's that. But I think I am leaning more towards this. Yeah, you can't go down 0-2 and then get back on the road, where 4 of the next 5 games, or what is it? How many? 3 of the next 5 games would be on the road. Yeah, I'm starting to fall with you guys on that. Okay, I got a quick quote for everybody, and then give everyone a quick rundown what we're going to do here. See if I got this here. With everything that has happened to you, you can either feel sorry for yourself or treat what has happened as a gift. Everything is either an opportunity to grow or an obstacle to keep you from growing. You get to choose. I like that end. You get to choose. Really, really good quote right there. If you guys got a quote you want to share with everybody, lob it in. I'll try to get to it. Let me give everyone a quick rundown of the show, and then we will get the show started today. Good stuff yesterday, by the way. That was a fun show. I enjoyed having McMenamin on. Enjoyed having Dave on. Really, really good conversation about the Lakers. Here's what we got going on for today. All the pressure on the Lakers. I want to talk a little bit about how I actually feel like this will play to the Lakers' advantage. I feel like this team is better when the pressure is on. I feel like this team responds more when there's more at stake. Well, you could say everything's at stake tonight. So if the Lakers can't respond to tonight's game, then they're just not better than the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I think it's as simple as that. But I do think the pressure will play to the Lakers' advantage. I'll spend a little bit of time on that. Adjustments for game 2. So actually the X's and O's portion of it. I'll kind of break down defensively what I think the Lakers need to do on the defensive side of the ball, what the Lakers need to do offensively, and how they could obviously become the team that they're supposed to be, and the team that, frankly, that we watched throughout the regular season, which I thought was a phenomenal team to watch. All of a sudden, that changed in game 1. So offensively, defensively, we'll kind of talk about some of the adjustments for game 2. Man, you want to talk about a team getting a chance to play loose tonight? I mean, house money for the Minnesota Timberwolves. You already won the first game on the road. What is everybody's goal when they start a series off on the road or after their first two home? Everybody, you just ask for a split. If I could get one of the two games that I'm on the road, mission accomplished. And here's Minnesota again to walk into tonight's game. They're chilling. I mean, you want to talk about no pressure on Minnesota, which who knows? Maybe that makes them either they get complacent and they're happy with winning one game in LA, or they're going for the kill and they have a killer instinct. We'll find out about Minnesota tonight as well, I think. Couple games yesterday in the NBA. Clippers over Denver. Really entertaining game. Really good series. Really good series. And that's two games that came down to the wire. It feels like that series should be tied one apiece. It is one apiece. Kawhi, 39 points. Damn, is Kawhi finally back? Is that man finally healthy? I know anybody that's watched the NBA for years, you pause when you say that. We'll get a little bit into that game. Pistons, very impressive win at New York. My Detroit Pistons. That, you know what? That's my team in the East. I'm all in with the Pistons now. Pistons with a win over New York. A little bit on that game. Nico Harrison. Somebody want to help Nico? Somebody's got to help this guy. This has got to a stage where I actually feel bad for the man. We'll talk about Nico Harrison, some more of his comments that he's had recently, and then a couple NBA stories, something on WrestleMania, and then we'll call it a day. We won't call it a day. We'll call it a morning, and then, we'll have something going on in the afternoon. Then we'll have something going on in the evening. So today's a busy one. Kind of makes me think like I'm back over at 710. There was a time where my schedule, I would do the quick little social thing in the morning. Then I do Travis and Sliwa. Then I get ready, kind of turn around a little bit later. I do the pregame. Then after pregame, obviously the game goes on. Watch the game, do halftime. Then you do postgame. Then I did postgame after the postgame. That's busy times. It's a busy schedule right there. All right, let me get to a couple of these comments, and then we'll get the show started. Slee, need the Lakers hitting people, grabbing, holding, fighting through screens, close out on three-point shooters for 4 quarters. Peter, let me make something simple for you. If they can't give that to you today or tonight, I don't know what to tell you. Then this just isn't the squad. But I'd be much more shocked that that's not the team that we get, because that's the team we really watched for most of the regular season this year. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. I've seen this quote before. That's one of the hardest quotes right there. I like this. When it rains, look for the rainbow. When it's dark, look for the stars. I like that. All right, let's get the show started. Thank you very much for hanging out. If you guys don't mind, by the way, Porky, how about them Clippers? I'll get into the Clippers a little bit later. I think it's a good conversation, and they deserve credit for playing 2 tough games in Denver and getting one of those games. Okay, so let's get the show started. If you guys don't mind, as I always ask, please subscribe to the channel if you've yet to subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate that, and we'll continue to obviously to grow this channel. All the pressure on the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. All the pressure on the Lakers tonight. By the way, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Part of me thinks I was looking at the regular season, and I was starting to kind of look at some games that were really important for the Lakers and how did they perform under some of those games. They had a big game at Memphis. I know Memphis wasn't playing well, but they had a big game at Memphis. It was on the road. This was late March. Lakers responded. They got a win. They had a big game against the Houston Rockets. That was a home game. Needed a W. Got it. We know what happened against the Golden State Warriors. They lost that game. Give Golden State credit. They were phenomenal. Golden State was awesome. Couple big games in OKC. I thought the first game, really set the tone for those two games. Lost the second game. Maybe they would have won that game. Maybe they wouldn't. We really won't know because Luka got thrown out. But I thought Lakers were phenomenal in OKC when there was a lot of pressure to kind of try to hold on to that number 3 seed or still fighting for that number 2 seed. The game at Dallas, and then to kind of wrap up the season, they had to take care of Houston. It wasn't like there was a lot of pressure there, but I think the Lakers have played in some pressure-packed games during the regular season. And I feel like every time there was a lot of pressure on the Lake Show, they responded. They delivered. Or most times. Let's put it that way. I don't think every time, but most times the Lakers responded. Really where I thought the Lakers were at their worst this year, when they were complacent, when maybe they were playing a team below 500 and they just kind of felt like it was going to be a walk in the park. Or maybe in game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where they know they don't have to have it, but life will go on if they lost that game. Not that, mentally the Lakers thought, hey, if we lose, everything's okay. But all the pressure was not on game 1. The pressure's on game 2. And I do feel like the Lakers so far, they've responded well to game 2. They've responded well to games where there's pressure. You can't fall down 0-2. And I think I was talking about this. Might have been in the post-game show after Lakers lost on Saturday. Might have been yesterday. I can't remember, which day it was. But somebody asked me about falling 0-2, and I'm like, no, it's not completely over. Technically, no, it's not. And yes, I do think Lakers can win in Minnesota. But I think what it would mean symbolically to fall down 0-2 and lose your first 2 games at home, and Minnesota only getting more and more confident, the momentum would be so tough to climb back from. I think I'm with everybody else that, hey, if you lose tonight, somebody put in here, might start, preparing for Cancun, right? Might join the Phoenix Suns, who have been in Cancun, it feels like, since February. That's where the Phoenix Suns have been. They got to get tonight. And I think we all understand that. And I think we all know, how much pressure is on the Lakers for tonight. Put the X's and O, put all that to the side. They didn't play hard enough to win the game on Saturday, which was wildly disappointing and surprising. They didn't play good enough. They didn't, they took some shots to the chin and were basically saying, well, we're not going to fight back. And, people will tell you, okay, well, it was just this stretch or was that stretch. They got their asses handed to them in game 1, and all the pressure now falls on game 2. I like that all the pressure's on the Lakers. I like that the Lakers kind of got a chance on Saturday night. Everybody was basically saying, yep, they got, from a physicality standpoint, Lakers got checked. Not nearly the team that we watched all regular season. They got punked. And I think sometimes you need something like that. Maybe it's a good wake-up call. Maybe there's a lot of things that can kind of factor into game 2. But I really, really, really am not expecting the Lakers to have a similar performance. I'm confident that the Lakers will respond. I'm confident that they play better with pressure. And I'm also confident that this is a team that they have talent. They have a couple of stars. They got role players that understand their role. I don't think the Minnesota Timberwolves are one of the greatest teams in the history of the NBA, so you don't have to worry about that as well. Give Minnesota credit. They handled game 1. I fully expect that in 16 hours or 14 hours or whatever it is, I'll be sitting doing the post-game show. We'll be talking about the Lakers tied 1 apiece in this series. I thought there were some interesting quotes that came yesterday. Came yesterday. So yesterday, Lakers had practice. I'm going to read a couple quotes here from JJ Redick on Lakers practice. He said, it was the best practice we've had in months. We probably could have done a few more scrimmages. Goes on to say, played live for a very extended period of time to address the Lakers offense. Austin Reeves, hopefully we can just right our wrongs. We played bad. They shot the ball really well. They're obviously a really good team that's physical. We got to match that. Tomorrow, it will definitely be a different story. It feels like coming out of this practice, coming out of the Lakers, basically got punked, coming out of a highly, highly, highly disappointing game for the Lakers. It feels like we're not going to get the same Lakers team that we got, obviously on Saturday. And that's all talk. That's all chatter until the Lakers obviously play tonight. Then we'll have to, obviously wait and see. But those were some of the quotes. A couple other quotes that I took out of it as well. JJ said, Reeves had some personal stuff about his performance. Well, I'll kind of get into that when I talk about what the Lakers got to do defensively and offensively. So we'll hit on that. JJ said, I think a lot of times you would hear that word and then you would think, oh, it's the point guard calling a play, talking about kind of how stagnant their offense was. No, it's just all the normal stuff that we try to do. And when we do it, we're really good. Being organized is screening. Being organized is getting in the proper spacing. Being organized is getting the corners filled after makes and misses. That's being organized, basically saying that tonight they'll be a lot more organized than they were a couple days ago. Okay. I want to kind of start getting into the actual adjustments for game 2. And I want to talk a little bit about the defense, and I want to talk about the offense. Before I do so, let's take a look at a few of the comments here as we get going. Good morning, Slee. Did you sleep any last night after your first day of coffee? Just slept great. No problems at all. Slept like a baby out there. All right, I'm going to hold on. Hold on to a couple of these comments. LeBron, Luka 30, LeBron 25, Reeves 20 for the win. Okay? A couple more in here. Yeah, for now, they're getting kind of more rest than they probably even need. But once you get past, they play tonight. They don't play again until Friday. After that, you'll start getting into a schedule that's a little bit more. Right now, they're just spacing all the games because there's so many games in the NBA. And for TV purposes, they're obviously trying to take a little bit of advantage of that. They want to show all the games, but it will tighten up as you get a little bit deeper into the playoffs. All right, let me get a couple more. Game much more complicated than the simple stuff. If Minnesota shuts down the perimeter, you won't get shots off that. It's Don's job to orchestrate offense for open shots. All right, he's talking about Luka. Luka was actually hitting some guys. Guys weren't hitting shots. Not as much as he typically does, but I got a crazy stat assist-wise from game 1 that I don't think we'll ever see again. Okay, let me kind of start getting to the specifics here of the adjustments for game 2. Let's talk about the defense first. All right, if Lakers are going to win tonight, it's got to be from their defense. I don't need to remind people here because I think there are a lot of people that watch Lakers basketball and a lot of people that are on this channel certainly enjoy the game, like the game, watch the game, understand the game. If you watched any Lakers basketball this year, one thing we know is for sure. Lakers get W's when they play defense. Lakers get W's when they get stops. There was a quote from, I hate the quote, but I appreciate Dorian Finney-Smith being honest about it. He had said something that because of his struggles on offense, it kind of held him back a little bit on what he typically does on the defensive side. So that's got to be something for the Lakers. Defense first, I will tell you this about the game tonight and some of the adjustments Lakers got to make. First off, get Naz Reid off the three-point line. Naz Reid's got to come off the three-point line. That if there's kind of one thing that was wildly frustrating to me in the last game Lakers had against Minnesota, I don't understand how Naz Reid gets that many looks from the three-point line. That's Naz Reid's game. And Naz Reid, by the way, Naz Reid's not a guy that's taking you one-on-one off a dribble, but just dumb mistakes. I'm trying to think back here. Was it Rui Hachimura? Somebody was driving. It might have been Ant, might have been Julius Randle. And Rui Hachimura decides he's going to collapse and try to help off of Naz Reid. And what is Julius Randle or Ant, whoever it was, makes a simple pass. Like, you're going to leave Naz Reid open in the corner for a three. Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw the ball to Naz Reid. And Naz Reid was nylon. I don't think Naz Reid even touched the rim in any of the three-point attempts that he was making. One adjustment that the Lakers got to make tonight, Naz Reid's a phenomenal player. He's a great player. But what makes him great, he loves sitting behind that three-point line, spotting up for threes. Get him off the three-point line. Can you just make Naz Reid take a couple of dribbles? And if he hits a tough 18-footer, then he hits a tough 18-footer. But what you can't have happen, and I think what happened in game one, Lakers just absolutely watching Naz Reid. Way too many looks for the Minnesota Timberwolves where it didn't even feel like there was a hand near some of there wasn't a defensive player near some of these three-point shooters. So one thing I would say is part of the adjustments in game two, you got to get Naz Reid off that three-point line. And if Naz Reid gets some buckets inside the three-point line and he finds a way and he's super aggressive, if he gets to the basket, you almost kind of live with it. That's not Naz Reid's game. Take away what his greatest strength is, which is beyond the arc. Okay, here's another adjustment for, I think, tonight's game. Don't overreact to Jaden McDaniels. If I want to get Naz Reid off the three-point line, I'm less concerned about Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels, it's more about what kind of looks is he getting. Jaden McDaniels is not a great three-point shooter. The averages are going to average out. Minnesota's not going to shoot 50% from three again. At least, they better not. But I don't think Jaden McDaniels is going to go 9 of 11 from the field again. He had a really good game one. Don't overreact to it. I don't think they got to worry too much about Jaden McDaniels, but I would worry about Naz Reid. Okay, here's another adjustment I would make for the Lakers defensively. I'm talking about just defensively here. You got to try to bait Ant into one-on-one ball. You know what was crazy between Ant and Julius Randle, and this is the way they're going to win, and we kind of talked about this before game one. This is the best strategy for the Minnesota Timberwolves to obviously to grab a game or anything like that. The best strategy for them is Ant and Julius Randle are stacking up assists. And if you look in game one, this is crazy. 14 assists between Julius Randle and Ant, only 4 for LeBron and Luka. The fact that they had 10 more assists than LeBron and Luka combined, I didn't even know was scientifically possible. But that's what happened in game one, which tells you a little bit about the Lakers' offense, and it also tells you a little bit about how Minnesota was able to share the ball, and 2 of their key playmakers were able to make plays for others, not just themselves. Try to bait Ant into more one-on-one ball. Julius Randle, don't help off Julius Randle. Try to bait him off more one-on-one ball. What I don't want to see is that Ant and Julius Randle have 14 assists combined or 16 assists combined or something along those lines, because I do think that would be a really, really it would be a shock to me to see that there's a 14-4 stat again where they have 10 more assists than Luka and LeBron. I don't think that's going to happen again, probably for the rest of the series. But try to bait those guys into more one-on-one ball. And the only other thing I'm going to say for the Lakers on the defensive side, don't overreact to the three-point shooting. They shot 50%. Give them credit. They shot 50%. But if you can't get a hand up on some of these guys, or if it's the same guys that are shooting the threes that either they got a hot hand or that's their game, then that's on you. Because they'll shoot 50% again if it's Naz Reid taking most of those threes. If it's open three-point shots that they're getting, then they're gonna shoot those threes, and they probably will still shoot at an efficient clip. So defensively for the Lakers, get Naz Reid off the three-point line. Don't overreact to Jaden McDaniels. I wouldn't overreact on the threes as well, but I would definitely try to at least have a hand up or make sure it's the right people shooting the threes that you want to shoot the threes, not the three-point shooters that they want, and then see if you could kind of bait Ant into more one-on-one ball. All right. Adjustments for the Lakers on offense. It's funny on offense. For the Lakers to have the amount of points that they scored, which is kind of wild. Who would have thought that's what the Lakers would be doing? But I'm going to start here with Austin Reeves. Where was Austin Reeves in game one? Now I can read some of his quotes from yesterday. Here's what Austin Reeves said. I wasn't myself. To what reason that was, I don't know, but just got to go out there and be myself, play my game, and have fun doing it. Austin Reeves was, kind of one of the bigger shocks in game one. There were a lot of people that didn't play well. I mean, I could point to a lot of things, but I think the Lakers are at their best when they have three guys that are legitimate threats, however they are. Maybe for Austin Reeves, if his shot's not falling, he's getting to the free throw line. Maybe for Austin Reeves, if his shot's not falling, he's facilitating for others. Maybe for Bron, okay, he's not having the best offensive game, but you look up at the stat sheet and he's got 18, 8, and 8. He got the 8 assists and he got the 8 rebounds, and he did, he found other ways to get other people involved. Luka only had 1 assist. So I think Austin Reeves is such a critical piece for this Lakers team, and obviously they got to have him. They got to have him performing. That's one area coming in tonight's game that, Austin Reeves just got to be better. That's the best way that I can put it. He's just got to be better. Bench has got to be a lot more productive. You can't have a game where Dorian Finney-Smith and Gabe Vincent and these Dalton Knecht led the Lakers in scoring off the bench. That's how pathetic it is. Dalton Knecht only came in at the end of the game, and he led the Lakers in scoring off the bench. I know Minnesota's got a brilliant bench. I know Minnesota's bench is probably on a night in, night out basis going to be a headache for the Lakers. That's an advantage for them. No, I find it difficult to think that if the Lakers ever outscore Minnesota on the bench, then they're probably winning that game, and it's a landslide. Minnesota's got Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Nikhil Walker-Alexander. They got really good players that are coming off the bench. So I do think that's something that they'll probably have, but the Lakers got to get some kind of production. And whether it's Dorian Finney-Smith, I'd like to see Vando play more minutes, or it's Gabe Vincent, or maybe, Jordan Goodwin. We'll see what they do today. You got to play. You got to have more guys that are contributing for the Lakers. The last thing that I'll mention, as far as some of the adjustments on offense for the Lakers, ball's got to move. And I'm not even taking a specific shot at anybody, but the ball has to move. The Lakers were stagnant. Lakers tried too much one-on-one ball. There were times in the first half LeBron was trying to go one-on-one versus Gobert. Gobert got a block. One-on-one versus maybe it was Naz Reid or Julius Randle. I forget who was against. Another block. Like, just too much isolation basketball, and I don't think that's when the Lakers are at their best. That ball's got to be moving. Superstars obviously got to do their job as well. So really looking at kind of the adjustments for game two, I think it starts on the defensive side, but I think offensively for the Lakers is there's going to be some areas where individual players just got to be better. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. Individual players got to be better. All right, let me take a look at some of the comments here. 100% agree. Ball needs to move. Yeah. There is a little bit of, okay, ball needs to move. There is a little bit of, all right, you got these great superstars, and how much of these guys are going to kind of do their own thing, and how much of these guys are going to try to get others involved. I do feel like the Lakers are just wildly better when there's a little bit more balance. Now, it's different. Listen, if there was a comment earlier, if LeBron gave you 25, Luka gave you 30, and Austin Reeves gave you 20, then you don't need as many guys to obviously be contributing. But just ball movement, just good basketball. Very stagnant in that last game. I don't like Luka's fast start. 2 reasons. He uses up all his energy by the fourth, and it makes his teammates cold, so they miss later. It's the AI syndrome. Yeah, that's a kind of a interesting conversation. End of the first quarter after game one, Lakers were up 28-21. And I want to say Luka had, what did Luka have? 16 or 18 points at the end of the first quarter. Lakers were up. Do you know why the Lakers lost that lead? Lakers lost that lead because Luka went to the bench, and I thought Minnesota made the right, coaching decisions, and that's when Naz Reid, started hitting all shots. I don't think that was on Luka. I don't think anybody else was helping. I don't think there was enough contributions from other guys. I think when Luka went to the bench, he's like, look, I already dropped 16 for everybody. We're up by 7. hold on to the damn lead and see if you can, obviously grow this lead. AR didn't do anything. LeBron was pretty much a no-show in that entire first half. I don't see. I genuinely, I don't think it's Luka. I don't think that's a problem for Luka to start off the game the way he does. I think Luka's kind of trying to take what the defense is giving him. I feel like there's a lot of times Luka's literally just trying to take what the defense is giving him. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see what we got here. If AR don't get to the free throw, flopping. Trying to bait in the fouls. I got you on that. I get it. All right, let's get another one in here. Half of these people aren't even Laker fans. That's okay. As long as people are making great, good points, I don't really care. Chat is chippy for no reason. I'll tell you why the chat is chippy. The chat is chippy because Lakers are down 0-1. Let me get some other side. I wish I could get a couple Timberwolves sides on here. T-Wolves make 15 threes a game. This is what they do. Yeah, but you got to make your adjustments as well. You got to take away some of the strengths from the other teams. I think that's part of it. I'm calling it now. Big comeback win tonight. Lakers are winning tonight. They're not going down 0-2. They're not going down 0-2. And what the hell do I care? Because if they go down 0-2, then the series is probably over. So I don't even think it's that bold of a statement. I just think the Lakers are much better than they played in game one. I just don't see a world where the Lakers are going down 0-2. I would be completely shocked. All right, here's another one here. All those wide open Nas shot kill. That's kind of the funny part to me. It's like, that's what this man does. This man literally, that's the best part of his game. And I'm not, this isn't a knock on Naz Reid, but it's not like if you take Naz Reid off the three-point line, his game elevates to another. Take the man off the three-point line. That's actually one of the quotes. What are one of the quotes here? Dorian Finney-Smith. Try to get guys like Naz Reid off the three-point line. He ain't going to shoot too many pull-up twos. He's probably going to the rim or shooting threes. So we got to get him off the line. Dorian Finney-Smith on how he played. I got to be a little bit more active. Last game, I allowed not touching the ball to kind of mess with my energy, and I got to be better. I think that's the point somebody was making about Luka, that if he doesn't get guys kind of going or involved early, then it kind of affects other parts of his game. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, so we got a lot of people that I think kind of agree with how Lakers Nas can put the ball. It's not that he can't put the ball on the floor. It's I'd rather him put the ball on the floor than get a wide open three. Let him, drive the ball to the basket. By the way, I think they're going to have to do this. I think they're going to have to probably going to have to play Jackson Hayes a little bit more. You got to have some type of rim protection. And maybe I wouldn't be surprised. I want to kind of shift this to Minnesota's perspective here for a quick second. I wouldn't be surprised or shocked if Minnesota also knows that, all right, Lakers are going to try to take them off the three-point line, and how aggressive they're going to be about getting to the basket, drawing fouls, maybe getting some guys in foul trouble, maybe, understanding. J.D. McDaniels has a quote coming after game one basically saying that there were times where he was the tallest guy on the floor, so he's like, all right, well, I'll just take the ball to the basket. We'll see how aggressive Minnesota is from that perspective, but obviously a lot of these guys got to kind of man up tonight and no excuses and try to find a way to come up with a W. I just want to say something real quick on the Minnesota Timberwolves side of things, and then I'll get into a couple more comments, and I want to start talking about Clippers tying the series versus the Nuggets. I already saw a couple Clipper comments out there. Frankly, Clippers should feel good about themselves. That was an impressive win yesterday. They could easily be up 2-0. So, real quick on Minnesota. You know what I'm curious about with Minnesota tonight? Because there's two types of teams in the NBA. There's the teams that when they're up, and, they already got one win on the road, there's two types of teams. They're the teams that get complacent and just say, okay, well, hey, if we don't win tonight, kind of mission accomplished. It's the true definition of playing with house money. It's the true definition. When you're playing, you just play a lot looser when you're playing with house money. Do you ever, I don't know, you go to a casino or something like that and you win a couple $100, and I don't know what it is. You could be playing poker. You could be playing, poker is actually a good example. Poker, when you got the stack of chips, you're playing a lot looser. You're playing hands that you wouldn't typically play. You play a little bully ball when it comes to some of the hands that you have. You're like, all right, well, you're making somebody with a short stack of chips kind of say, all right, well, this isn't the hand that I want to play. And you find yourself winning so many more hands because you're playing with house money. Two types of teams. The teams that get a little complacent when they already accomplished the goal that they were looking to accomplish. And then true teams that kind of have championship pedigree, they go for the kill. Makes me think of the Golden State Warriors they go for the kill. They're teams that, think back in the Laker days. The Laker days, some of these different teams that we've had over the years that have won championships, the squads that go for the kill. Minnesota's got a shot tonight to go for the kill. And I think we'll find out a little bit more about Minnesota tonight as well. Are they complacent? Are they good? Hey, we already got one win. Or is this, I'll tell you what, if we're entering the fourth quarter, 6 minutes left to go, and this game is tied at 95, I'd be sweating if I'm a Laker fan. I mean, I'd be sweating because now your season is on the line. And now it almost reminds me of Lakers had those two games against OKC. They got the first one. They didn't need the second one. They got the first one. Mission accomplished. And there we were. 7 minutes left to go. 6 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. In the second game against OKC, OKC wanted that game after they got blown out by the Lakers in the first game. And there were the Lakers trying to step on the throat of the Oklahoma City Thunder. We didn't come here for one game. We came here for two. They lost that game. Luka got thrown out. But you kind of get the message that I'm trying to send. That's the portion of the game tonight I'm very curious about, of how the Minnesota Timberwolves kind of react to their game. They know the Lakers are going to come out desperate. They know the Lakers have to have this win. Are they going blow for blow? Are they going toe for toe with the Lakers with a few minutes left in the fourth quarter and this is a game? That's the part that I would be highly concerned of if, we get to the fourth quarter and this is a 2-3 possession game, something along those lines, or a 3-4 point game, something along those lines. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments and we'll go from there. Let's see what we got here. Wolves won't make 23s tonight. Make 15. Lakers are a slow team physically. They don't move or run well. Still were playing good defense when they were at their best. No excuses. Lakers need to win now or never. After that, not much left. Yeah, then the last thing you want to have tonight is where the conversation starts shifting about, all right, what are the Lakers going to do in the offseason? You know what? Maybe they should trade it for Mark Williams. T-Wolves know that the Lakers will come out hot. I predict an even tougher belt. Mini is a momentum team. Once they feel they can beat you, they do it. And listen, I don't know how much of the disrespect that they felt, everybody picking the Lakers, I don't know how much that, had an effect or has an effect or whatever the case is. I have no idea. I just know that they came out after that first quarter and dominated the Lakers for 3 straight quarters. So we could kind of keep it at that. Lakers have to pick their poison, stop Ant-Man from attacking, or shut down the perimeter. No, I'd rather stop the perimeter. And if Ant wants to drop 40 tonight, let Ant drop 40. But nobody else can do, obviously what they were doing, where they had so much balance with all those other players. That was kind of very simply put. The game they played on Saturday was almost perfect basketball for them. They got everybody involved, and you had Ant and Julius Randle facilitating. So 14 assists between the two of them. Okay, I saw a couple of these comments. I'm going to shift here. A couple NBA games last night that I want to get into here real quick. So last night, and by the way, if you got some more Laker or Minnesota comments for tonight's game, feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll get to them before the show, before we get to the end of the show. Clippers and the Denver Nuggets yesterday. Phenomenal game. I listened to some of it on radio, then got home, and then basically watched the entire fourth quarter. There's certain, let's just say hypothetically, Denver had won that game, and they go up 2-0. And you look, and you didn't get a chance to watch either one of the games, and you just look, hey, let me see what the series is between the Clippers and the Denver Nuggets, and you saw that Clippers were up 2, or that Denver was up 2-0. It really, really, really would not. It would not be the proper. It wouldn't explain just how this series has gone. Clippers Denver has been the best series so far of all the series that we've got a chance to watch. That's been the best series. One game comes down to overtime, and then this game comes down to the last possession, couple of mistakes by Denver, and obviously the series is now tied 1 apiece. This series should be tied 1 apiece. Phenomenal game last night as well. Couple kind of key mistakes, couple things to kind of point out here real quick. One of the, what was it? It was Aaron Gordon missing a dunk. There was nobody in the lane, misses a dunk. Michael Porter Jr. kind of had a weird moment. I want to say Denver was up. Were they up 3? Maybe up 1. I forget what they were up, but I know they were up. And it was a key possession, and Michael Porter Jr. gets the ball. And then I don't know if he's starting to pass the ball, but hesitates. The ball comes out of his hands, and then he dives for the ball and then falls, and somebody falls on his shoulder. Now Michael Porter Jr. was having a phenomenal game yesterday. Gets taken out of the game because of his shoulder, so he can't close out the game. Norman Powell hits a 3 at that same possession. Back and forth, exciting game. Kawhi Leonard last night. I'm going to read you some of his stats. I don't care if you're a Clipper fan or you're not a Clipper fan. I don't care if it doesn't matter to me. I don't want to see great players I don't want to see anybody get injured. But, unfortunately for Kawhi Leonard, he has not had many playoff runs over the years here because he's always injured this time of the year, or maybe before the playoffs start, and he can't perform, and he can't be the player that he needs to be, and he's got the swelling in his knee or whatever the case is. Kawhi Leonard last night, 39 points, 15 of 19 from the field, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block shot in 39 minutes of play. This is the best Kawhi Leonard that we've probably seen since the Toronto days. That's how long it's been since Kawhi it feels like. I'm sure, I know Kawhi's had some runs with the Clippers in the past, but this is the greatest version of Kawhi, the healthiest version of Kawhi Leonard that we've seen in a really, really long time. The man shot 15 of 19 from the field. He shot almost 75% from the field. And I'm not telling you Denver is the bad boys Pistons with some of their defenders, because I know they're not. But they got guys that will put a hand in your face. Aaron Gordon had a couple of moments where you can't play any better defense on Kawhi, and Kawhi was still hitting shots right in his face. Big win for the Clippers yesterday. They tie up the series 1 apiece, and frankly, this series should be 1 apiece. This might be the best series in the entire playoffs. We'll see what eventually happens. But these two teams are evenly matched, and I thought it was a really, really interesting game, kind of a fascinating game to watch. It's not even like this series means anything to the Lakers, anyways. You're kind of more paying attention to the Warriors and the Rockets. I mean, frankly, you shouldn't even be paying attention to that series. You should just be worried about the Lakers trying to get a win and tying up the series tonight. But this was just good basketball. 2 teams that are very evenly matched. 2 teams that have champions on it, whether it's, Jokic winning a championship, Jamal Murray, obviously Denver's won a ring, or Ty Lue, who was a coach for a championship with Cleveland, or Kawhi Leonard, who's got multiple championships himself. So just a really, really entertaining game. I thought key mistakes from Denver down the stretch there where they had a chance to close out that game, but it also makes sense that the series is tied 1 apiece. Want to see something here. Jokic, 26, 12, and 10. Only took 16 shots. You know who's actually a really, really good player? I know you guys already know this. Ivica Zubac. He's a nice player. 16 and 12 yesterday. He's trying to do everything he can against Nikola Jokic. I think kind of holds his own against him. Jokic is still the greatest player in the world, but holds his own against him. Harden yesterday, what did he do? 18 and 7. So a little bit, but it was all kind of driven, obviously by Kawhi Leonard. All right, I'm going to see some of these comments here. There was another game that I'll just mention here real quick, and then I'll look at some of the comments. The other game last night, which was, I thought, phenomenal too. Man, Detroit Pistons. What an impressive win at New York. I'll start looking at the comments in just a second, but let me get through this game here real quick. I thought Detroit, who blew game one, New York went on a 21-0 run. I thought that would be a backbreaker, devastating. Detroit, you had a great year. You've been pathetic for so many years. It ain't happening, but you made it to the playoffs, and you got a stud in Cade Cunningham, and you could kind of build off of that and kind of build towards the future. Instead, Detroit comes into New York again, puts up a dogfight, and walks away with a 194 win over the Knicks. Cade Cunningham, 33 and 12. How old is Cade Cunningham? How old is this dude? He's so smooth, too. He's 23 years old. Cade Cunningham's 23 years old. By the way, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, same age. And give Ant all the credit in the world, but Cade Cunningham walking into the Garden, 33 and 12 at the Madison Square Garden, winning in New York. That's impressive. And a really, really impressive win for Detroit. By the way, Dennis Schroeder, 20 points. I saw Trevor Lane put something out there yesterday saying something kind of along the lines of how much he misses Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder's that dude's a scrappy player. That's just kind of in his DNA, and that's how he plays the game. But those were the two games from yesterday. Two really good games. A very, very impressive win by the Pistons at New York. And then, like I mentioned, Clippers tying up the series against New York. All right, here's the bet. Here's a really good point. They almost choked, though. He's talking about, I think what he's talking about is Detroit almost choking. Guys, I don't know how many years it's been since Detroit has won. It might even just be a playoff game. It's been years. That team is wildly young. I know they got Beasley and they got a couple other players. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. They got a couple vets on there as well. Dennis Schroeder. They got a couple of guys that are vets. The fact that they choked away maybe game one and didn't choke away game two, even though they were close to choking away game two, I don't even think matters. Did you win and tie up the series one apiece, or did you not? They did. And for a young team like that, and I'm talking about a young team as in a guy like Cade Cunningham, who's incredibly young and, obviously trying to make a name for himself in the league, has already made a name for himself in the league. But they got a lot of guys that have just never been in this situation before. I know Tobias Harris has been there. I know Tim Hardaway Jr. has been there, but they got also, a lot of other players that are kind of learning on the fly. I think it's impressive. I don't think it matters at all that they almost choked away that game or not. Cade Cunningham looks like he has come. Cade Cunningham is a stud. He's a stud. By the way, it's easy to root for teams like this, right? The young teams going up against the big market. It's easy to cheer for Pistons. That's my team in the East. I just decided yesterday, right after they won. I'm like, that's my team. Pistons are a solid team. All right, let's see a couple of the people's responses in regards to the Clippers and Denver series. Zubac for Muscala. I know. Big Zoo really become an excellent big man. He's a good bit. He's just a solid basketball. He's a solid center in the league. Every time I watch him, I'm like, okay, maybe he's a little unorthodox. Maybe it's not the smoothest thing. Grabs rebounds, finishes around the basket, has decent touch, can make free throws. I'm very impressed by him. I really am. I'm very, very impressed by kind of his development over the years. All right, let's see. Let's get a couple more in here. Vintage Kawhi was lit. Yeah, Kawhi, I really, really hate seeing great players that injuries are stopping them. Joel Embiid. You know how bad I just want to see Joel Embiid just be Joel Embiid? You know, if you go back in the day, you used to look at guys. I'm going back a little bit here, but like Grant Hill never got to be the greatest version of Grant Hill because of his injuries. Brandon Roy had to stop playing the game because of his, I think it was knee issues that he was having. You know how bad that, like, just as a fan of basketball, fan of the NBA, Kawhi Leonard, to kind of see his championships with the Spurs, obviously finals MVP, the Toronto Raptors championship that he got, but he's been injured so much of his career, 15 of 19 from the field yesterday. That's unbelievable, that efficiency. Just unbelievable. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what else we got here. He should have joined the Lakers. I don't disagree. The beauty with Kawhi, I think if he, we remember that moment where he was trying to make a decision. Now, I guess at the time I kind of understand. Maybe he wants to kind of carve his own path, but there have been a lot less pressure on Kawhi. Kawhi is a machine on offense, and of course, everyone knows about his defense. I'm not hating on Kawhi, but he is great. But playing half a season for the last 5 years doesn't put him at the top 10. Imagine if Kobe took half season. Can I tell you this, guys? I really genuinely don't feel. I'm not trying to rank Kawhi anywhere in the NBA. Frankly, I think it would be a boring conversation if I was. I think Kawhi Leonard is he's a hooper. He's a basketball player. If he was healthy, he would have been playing. And I think a lot of times that he sat or load management, I think the strategy was, guys, he can't go 82. You just got to get him healthy for the playoffs. I think that was part of the strategy. Whether you like it or not, I really genuinely believe that was part of the strategy. Let's see what we got here. All right, so a lot of people putting on here that last night's Clipper game was great, low-key. Clipper-Denver game was low-key. It was a really, really good game. Shout out to Magic Johnson for Zubac. Yeah, I'm sure that's there. Yeah, and I look at Denver. They're kind of an up-and-down team as well. They need a lot of things to go well. The good thing for them is Jamal Murray's playing. So the fact that Murray's playing is obviously a big part to do with them having a chance in this series. Let's see what we got here. That's why I'm rooting for Nuggets. No more rings for Kawhi. I got a difficult time thinking. Let's put it this way. Let's say Clippers. Well, I mean, I guess you never know. I was going to say, let's say Clippers got past Denver. I would be taking OKC, no question about it, in the next round. Just because of their defense. By the way, how interesting would that be? OKC and the Clippers this many years later, Shea, for the team that traded him to eventually get Paul George and Kawhi, Paul George gone. That'd be some interesting storylines as well. Okay, I do want to Denver has a great chance to win the series. I still got Denver in 7. I said Denver in 7. That's what I'm going with. So that's where I'm at. Okay, let's keep moving on here. First off, I want to just kind of share a couple quick stories here. Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm, one of our great partners of the channel, very, very appreciative of them. Can I just tell you guys, I'm kind of having partnerships is kind of game changer for the channel. It literally is game changer for the channel. So I just want you guys to understand that. So I don't think you guys will ever really understand when there's a partnership on here, just how valuable it is from so many different perspectives. Shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Yesterday I showed a video. Him and I did a podcast together. Actually, the podcast that we did on his for his channel and for his social media will be released today. So I'll put that out on social and everything else. kind of enjoyed the conversation with him. But he came on this show as well. And I remember this was about a month ago, and he was telling me that there was a case that he's been working on for his client. For the last 5 years, it was against Home Depot that they were working on. And it was really cool last week for him to kind of give me a little bit of update of what happened. So Home Depot, I guess, didn't settle. And Brad did exactly what he said he was going to do. He took them to trial. And, we were talking about this on the podcast. He was literally telling me this is where we are. We're kind of at the final stretch. And 2 weeks ago, Brad had his closing arguments at the Van Nuys courthouse in Los Angeles County. The jury delivered a $4.6 million verdict on behalf of the Wallace firm's client and found Home Depot responsible for nearly $3 million of that amount, which was significantly more than Home Depot's highest pretrial offer on the case. Here's a reason why I share that story. I hope you guys are never in a situation or a predicament, or you don't have a family member in a predicament, but things do happen. If you need an injury attorney, please don't look anywhere else. It's very, very simple. I think a lot of people here, obviously trust me on the channel. You could trust Brad Wallace and his team. Create a URL, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, wallacewins.com/Sliwa, or click on the link in my description of the video. I put on every video, and you could go there. You get a free consultation. He could help anybody in the state of California. So want to share that story because that's a real story that just happened recently for one of his clients. And if any of you are ever in a situation where you need an injury attorney, I got a guy for you. All right. All right. So shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. Okay. Let's keep going here because there's a couple NBA things I want to get into here real quick. And it's going to start with our guy, Nico Harrison. One of my favorite front office people is Nico Harrison. Can I tell you guys, I've gone full circle with Nico Harrison. Yesterday, he did some, what did he do? He did an exit interview. There were a lot of questions. Frankly, I got to be honest with everybody. Let's talk Nico Harrison here for a quick second. This guy's been such a punching bag since February 1st. And I get it. I understand why. And he hasn't helped himself. I still ultimately feel like it starts at the top, and this is on ownership. And yesterday, he didn't help himself as well. He was asked a question about if he, knew that the fans would be this upset, the anger and the outrage that came out since the trade. Here's his quote. I knew Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level. He's not helped himself at all. He really hasn't. There was a question yesterday. Somebody asked about if he feels like, because of all the chants that, they want Nico fired, if he feels like he should be fired, something along those lines. I mean, frankly, I genuinely now feel bad for Nico Harrison because he's looked like a complete idiot from the beginning by making the trade, by trading Luka Doncic. And then, unfortunately for him, nothing ever got to come to fruition. Kyrie got injured. AD got injured. So even though this was a wild trade that nobody thought that the Dallas Mavericks should make, everything else went wrong as well. They didn't even make the playoffs. And then next year, when are you going to get Kyrie Irving back? January, February at the All-Star break? How good are they going to be next year? You lost your future icon. He was beloved. Luka was beloved in Dallas. Everything has gone absolutely wrong. Some of the questions, like, I'm not asking the question to Nico Harrison, do you think you should be fired? I mean, what do you want the guy to respond? Yes, I think I should be. Yes. You know what? Yes, I do think I should be responding. Actually, when we're done with this, exit interview, I'm going to go to Patrick Dumont and ownership, and I'm going to tell them, guys, I think I should be fired. Patrick Dumont is the owner. Don't forget, there are a couple of dumbasses in this situation. The biggest dumbass is the owner that said, yep, go ahead and make that trade. Because if you know that little about the franchise and the team and everything else and how important Luka Doncic is, I don't know what to tell you. And if you're not getting second, third, fourth, and fifth opinions on one of the top 5 players in the NBA before you trade him, I don't know what to tell you. I've gone full circle with Nico Harrison. I went from, I don't know what the hell this guy is doing. to thank you, Nico Harrison. Greatly appreciate your time. You should get a jersey and a statue outside of crypto. To now kind of full circle where I saw Charles Barkley saying something yesterday. He's like, stop doing interviews. You're not helping yourself. There's nothing you can say anymore that can help yourself. You're just digging a deeper and a deeper and a deeper hole. Should you fire yourself? What do you want him to do with that question? What do you want him to do with that question? Yes, I should fire myself. But anyways, that's all kind of goes to the side. The fact that Nico said he didn't quite know what level Luka Doncic should how big or how important he was to that franchise. He's had some fireable offense moments. He's had some moments where it's like, yeah, maybe this guy, should go, but that's obviously going to be up to ownership. But I think just people truly got to understand, if you give Nico Harrison a lot of, headache because of that trade, you better give equal amount of headache to Patrick Dumont and the rest of ownership as well, because they clearly were blind in this whole situation as well. Okay, a couple other NBA things here I'm going to get to. I don't know if you guys saw this. Most overrated player in the NBA. Did you guys see this article? The Athletic put this out. You guys want to take some guesses? Who's the league's most overrated player? NBA players voted on this. The NBA players voted at the league's most overrated player. Who do you think it was? Actually, I'm going to enjoy kind of seeing some of these. Because I'm curious to see what people say. Okay, let's see what we got here. By the way, a couple people let's see what we got here. Exactly, Slee. Okay. To be honest, Cuban did all he could. The only responsibility I would give to Cuban is when you're selling the team. It's not his response. If I'm selling a house and I get the price that I want, I can't sell the house and then say, well, what are these owners going to do with the house? Kind of his job just to sell it. But if I was Mark Cuban, yeah, I'm making sure the right owners are obviously taking ownership. Yeah, Nico is still clueless. Let's see what he's got here. If you don't know about the ownership of Dallas, then you don't know. I don't care what the owner said. I'd retire before I traded Luka. Yeah, I'm with you. I think ownership. I'm going to get back to that question about the most overrated player. I'm going to just read a couple of these here real quick. I think ownership is ultimately responsible for the Luka trade. Like people blaming LeBron and AD for the Westbrook trade. Ultimately, it was Rob Pelinka pulled the trigger on the deal. It's fair. It's a good point. All right. Starts at the top, Slee. That part I agree with. This is all on the Mavericks ownership. That part I agree with. Now, if you're Nico Harrison and you're an NBA guy and you've made some trades in the past that were pretty good. Okay. These were some of the people guessing in regards to who the players voted for most overrated. All right, let's see what we got here. Tyrese Halliburton's on the list. Gobert is on the list. AR is on the list. Fred VanVleet is on the list. Draymond, Joel Embiid, Steph Curry. Damn. All different answers. Tyrese Halliburton is definitely overrated. AD, Ja, Paul George. All right, so we got a lot of different players. Here's the list. Let me actually share this with you guys. I think we could look at it together. Because you guys named off a lot of players. A couple of players that I saw after, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that player should definitely be on that list. Look at this list of the most overrated players. The thing I like about this is it's voted by the NBA players. Tyrese Halliburton, number 1. Rudy Gobert, number 2. Trae Young, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's proven he ain't overrated. Bradley Beal, Draymond Green, John Morant, Julius Randle, Joel Embiid, Giannis, Dylan Brooks, Paul George, Tyler Hero, go all the way down. Bron, 2%. There you go. There's your list. League's most overrated players. Tyrese, number 1. Interesting. Maybe I wasn't rating him that high to begin with. Maybe I didn't value him as much as others did out there. All right. Yeah, you got a lot of people that are putting their opinion on that. All right, let me get to a quick super here. Melee, thank you, by the way. I appreciate you throwing in the super here. Really, really appreciate that. This article yesterday shows that even Mark Cuban has some blame not stopping the Mavs organization from letting go of Casey Smith, which started the domino effect of losing Dirk's support and eventually Luka. Yeah, this has got to be give me that 30 for 30. Give me that documentary that comes out on this so we can all kind of see the backstory of this. I want a documentary on, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to title it. I think that would be fascinating. Kind of take it all back to the night of the trade and the tweet that originally comes out and the shocking reaction from everybody. I think that would be a fascinating watch. By the way, in the NBA tonight, we got a few games. So the NBA will start tonight. NBA TV, by the way, I think Dame is questionable for tonight. So maybe potentially still a chance that he plays tonight. Milwaukee at Indiana starts at 4 o'clock. TNT, Memphis, OKC. OKC last game, they only won by 51. And then Minnesota and Lakers at 7 o'clock tonight. That's on TNT as well. So 3 games tonight in the NBA. Should be fun. Obviously, we know what the Lakers need to do, what they have to do. Let me read a couple more comments here, and then we're going to call it a day as I try to get a little bit of breather before I do another pregame action here. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to do pregames here. As long as I don't have anything kind of conflicting, I'm going to try to do some pregame shows before all these playoff games. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, that's the name. When I saw Bradley Beal, I'm like, oh yeah, Bradley Beal. That's a good pick right there. Carl Anthony Towns over Zach LaVine. I that's a good pick as well. A lot of overrated players in the NBA. If Nico gets fired from Dallas, no other team would ever hire him after the Luka fiasco. You might be right about that. Maybe they hire him as a consultant, something like that. But you're right about that. Heard Dame is back tonight. Yep, questionable. Okay, my people, fun show today. Thank you. I know that we hit on a lot of topics. I know obviously a lot of this is about Game 2 and the adjustments Lakers got to make for tonight. I'm going to, let's see, if I can time this right. Game starts at 7, which means Coach will talk at, let me check on the fly here. I want to check because I'm going to give you guys an idea. I think what I'm going to do is something similar that I did to the last game that we had, how I did that pregame. Let me just see here because I want to check one thing. Coach will talk at 5:15. That's right. Coach will talk at 5:15. My plan, I'm going to probably try to go live at 4:30 will be my plan. Yep. Something like that. I want to say 4:30. So if I go 4:30, I'll probably go till 5. So I'll do about a half-hour pregame from the arena. And then that way I could still go listen to JJ Redick and Chris Finch starting at 5:15. So that's going to be my plan for tonight. Sammy did put out a preview video. So I encourage all you guys to go and get a chance to watch that preview video of Lakers getting ready for the game tonight. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out here and certainly hanging out during the show. So thank you, everybody. Hope you guys have a great rest of your morning. And I'll see you guys a little bit later today, about 4:30, something like that is when I'll come back on. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and we will get with you guys soon.